Last month, I was helping out with one of the Fiery Joker's boss countdowns, particularly one about the easiest bosses you can lose to, which should be up by the time I have this video uploaded. On that list was the Giant Breadbug, a boss from Pikmin 2 most people consider to be one of the easiest in the series. So easy in fact that you can't even lose Pikmin to it unless you really go out of your way to do so, since all it does is collect corpses and treasures. And you know, that got me thinking, not a lot of people I've seen have actually lost Pikmin to the Giant Breadbug. The only recorded footage I've seen of it is from Chugga Conroy. So I've been thinking, while I am assisting Josh on his countdown, why not try to collect my own footage of the Giant Breadbug and see just how many Pikmin I can possibly kill? That's when I got the bright idea to come up with the Breadbug Formula, a calculation which records every item in the final floor of Glutton's kitchen, the dungeon where the Giant Breadbug resides, and measures how many Pikmin it takes to carry them and the maximum amount that allows the Breadbugs to pull the items off of them. And this is excluding any result of casualty against the boss or interference by the electrical hazards. So, we have 2 Breadbugs assisting the boss on this floor, as well as 6 anode beetles crawling around. There are up to 3 treasures lying about, one of which is lighter than the others. To find out how many Pikmin the Breadbugs can kill, we gotta cut out the max Pikmin for each item down by 80%, since that's the maximum amount that it takes to pull the items from the Breadbugs, giant and small alike. Afterwards, deduct 1 Pikmin from the result to let the Breadbugs win the poll. Let's factor in the max manpower for each item here. 12 Pikmins for 2 Breadbugs, 60 Pikmin for 6 anode beetles, 15 Pikmin for the egg, 20 Pikmin for a donut, and another 20 for the meat. Add them all together and you get 127 total Pikmin manpower. 80% of that is 101.6, or 102 rounded up. As there are 11 items from all this, we'll deduct 1 Pikmin from each of them. That brings us to a total of 91 Pikmin that the Giant Breadbug can kill. That's a heckin' lot, isn't it? Although it is a bit underwhelming that it can't quite kill 100 Pikmin. That said, if you don't kill the smaller Breadbugs immediately, you can have them kill a few leftovers for you as they drag the treasures themselves. An upside to this is that if you kill a Breadbug after it hoarded a treasure, said treasure will respawn, so you can still use that as ammunition for the Giant Breadbug. So if we were to include the kills from the smaller fry into the mix, that will increase the scale of our formula. We'll be tripling the manpower from the treasures to include potential kills from them, which gives us an extra 110 Pikmin to work with. Apply the same formula again, and we get an additional 82 Pikmin in the mix. That increases our total Breadbug kill count to 173 Pikmin. Holy shit! The fact that you can sacrifice 100 Pikmin to the Breadbugs with a margin of error up to 73 is pretty morbid, knowing that this is supposed to be one of the more chill boss floors in the game. But of course, what are calculations without proof? As I've never seen anyone record footage evidence of a Giant Breadbug Massacre, I figure I should go ahead and do it myself. So I decided to record my gameplay of Pikmin 2 and manage all the preparations I could. Starting off, I brought a team of 100 yellow Pikmin, and made sure to beat the Giant Breadbug once first. I did this so I can get the eraser that makes the captains immune to electricity. This maximizes efficiency so I don't have to worry about the electrical hazards. Adding on, I stocked up on a few bitter sprays to slow the Breadbugs down, which doubles as insurance. So, with all that said, let's jump right into the bottom of the kitchen and commence the operation. So, to kick things off, I have everyone whistled and ready to march towards the treasures. Now you can see the 2 small Breadbugs will always go after the 2 treasures closest to their dens first. Which of the 3 treasures it is random, but it doesn't really matter because if you can get at least 10 Pikmin pulling on each of these, you should be fine. I said fine, but it's clearly not fine for these Pikmin who are about to march into their deaths. I recommend tossing your Pikmin onto these treasures instead of swarming them so that you don't get too many of them trying to pull the treasure away from the Breadbugs. They can get distracted by the electric hazards, so do watch out for that too. Now okay, you can see here that I managed to get 23 Pikmin pulling onto these treasures, and that the little Breadbugs are gonna kill them right off the bat. Yeah, pretty gruesome. So here we have the big boy heading in with a piece of salami, and you wanna get as much Pikmin on this as you can too. I got about 14 on that, which is 1 short of the max, but that should be fine, we still got a lot killed here. I'm such a goddamn psychopath, I'm really sorry for this guys. I don't like killing Pikmin any more than most do, but don't worry. I do have a copied save file where everyone's fine, so let's just say this is one of the dark timelines. So as you can see, I decided to use the bitter spray to kill one of the Breadbugs on the spot. This won't leave a corpse, but that's a margin of error we can sacrifice since they already killed a good amount of Pikmin earlier. Now then, we're gonna go ahead and try to carry this donut while waiting for the giant breadbug to come back. And slowly, and okay. So here I threw like 5 to 6 more Pikmin to maximize the grip on that donut, and looks like it worked. One of them made it out, but don't worry, he'll join him soon. So, right here we have another breadbug, and we're just gonna wait until he's done sniffing some of that beetle anus. And there we go. One more breadbug down for the count. You can see the egg respawned up there, and we're gonna go ahead and take that. So yeah, we're just gonna wait until Gilbert comes back to pick up his roommate's leftovers. He has a knack for walking outside of the boundary sometimes, so it's gonna take a while before he comes back to do his job. Oh, okay, never mind. There he is. Okay, now then, he's gonna come here and... okay. One more Pikmin for good measure. And that should be it for the treasures. Okay, so while we wait for our heroes to play their last game of tug of war, we're gonna go ahead and start killing all these anode beetles. Gonna wanna be careful here because he could suddenly grab one of the corpses later while I'm not looking. But that shouldn't be a problem since Pikmin 2 does have some of the best controls in any game ever. And that includes adjusting your camera. Okay, now that he's done with all the treasures, he should be heading out for one of the beetles now. So I need to get around 7 Pikmin tops to pull onto that. I got 37 Pikmin left, so with the amount of beetles here, I should have enough to kill the last of my squad. Initiate playing tug of war with someone's dead body. Okay, it's kind of funny how he can just glitch himself out on that plate, but can't pull the corpse up with him. But sometimes trying to throw a Pikmin near these guys while they walk is a nuisance cause they move faster than a normal breadbug, so do watch out for that. Anyways, we can go on ahead and continue killing all these mating didgeridoos. You know, I always wonder what's the point of anode beetles zapping each other like that. Like, is that supposed to be how they mate? That can't be right. I mean, yeah, it could be a defense mechanism, but their bio states that they're usually unaware of threats. Maybe it's just how they share energy with each other in general, but still. Weird creatures. Creative and cute, but still weird. Then again, I'm a spider who does necromancy, so who am I to judge? Okay, now that I'm looking back at it, I probably should have destroyed the electric hazards while I had the leisure, since they can really distract my Pikmin sometimes. I didn't think of it at first since I was racing against the bugs, but now I really should consider that as a late game step. Sorry that I had to do all of this with post-commentary, by the way. I wish I could do it live, but I wasn't in my best shape when I recorded this footage. Still, I do like doing it this way since it helps get the point across without me stuttering every so often. Even now, I'm still stuttering a lot. If you're wondering, yes, I am a die-hard fan of the Pikmin series, and I do have some videos planned where I cover the main series games. Although I never did play the original version of Pikmin 3 because the Wii U is literally impossible to get where I am. So I'll be reviewing the deluxe version instead. I'll try to do some research on the version differences so I can at least be fair to the OG. I'm sure a good handful of people will appreciate it. So this is the point where I decided to finally break the hazards. It's already damaged anyway, so I figured, why the hell not? And now we're gonna take care of this last anode beetle, and that should be it for all of them. Now then, all we gotta do left is to play the waiting game until our boy Gilbert gets his well-needed exercise. Because let me tell you, he really likes walking around aimlessly. I suppose that's one thing we both share in common. It's probably why I'm always so skinny. This guy though, I don't think he's getting thinner anytime soon. So while we wait, I'm gonna go ahead and check these eggshells to see if there's any sprays. Not that I need them right now, but hey, will be funny if one does pop out. You can see how far off boundaries Gilbert can go. It's interesting how the breadbugs don't seem to have a scripted set of moves. They do grab any items within range, but they don't seem to immediately detect them from far away to collect them on the spot. By the way, I called him Gilbert because apparently that's what the Pikmin community decided to name him. I realized later that it sort of works as a short name for Giant Breadbug, so that's actually both funny and clever. So, now that I only have so many Pikmin left, I did one last check and found out that I'm short 5 Pikmin for the maximum workload for all these beetles. Of course, that's still better than having too many anyway. Plus, it's still enough to ensure that every beetle corpse is getting some use, so we're not leaving any bodies untucked here. And looks like he decided to ignore the corpse closest to him and went for the furthest one instead. I guess he's just so used to taking the left turn at this point. Let's hope it's not because of a trauma from wearing Miyaya Gekogahara's NG bracelet in the past or something. So, as we're approaching the end of this 8-minute long journey, I wanna ask you guys, do you think the yellow Pikmin are enjoying this? I mean, sure, I know Uta did address that these Pikmin are willing to die for their leader no matter the circumstance, but considering they're trying to get a task done, won't they find it more annoying to die like this? Like, they don't even actively harm the Breadbugs, despite having no qualms attacking harmless and armored enemies otherwise. So imagine just suddenly dying to the one type of enemy you show no hostility over. It's like putting all your money on a single Danganronpa character to either make it out alive or have a good character arc, only for her to be wasted out just to feed someone else's story arc that you don't give a flying frick about. Was I going off track? I don't know. I'm just rambling at this rate. Thanks for watching, my good folks. I hope our little experiment has been decently educational for you all. As for all the random stuff I said in between, you can mind them if you want, I don't care. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy my content and would like to see more. See you all next time.